Hello, everyone. Welcome to Word Funk. I am Leon Thomas. I am joined by Johnny Maloney and Austin Yorsky. Did I say Johnny Baloney? Did I?
I don't know, but
if you did it, you wouldn't be the first. I mean, do you really honestly believe that I've managed to make it to the age of 35? And nobody has come up with that one before?
If you didn't, you need to edit it so that you did.
I may have slurred my speech. I apologize.
What's up, delicious?
What?
Oh,
Leon, because you don't wander the arid wastelands of the comments in the word funk postings, I think you might be interested to know that Austin has been apparently elected the most delicious of us. Not by any, not by any Ipsos Reid approved poll or anything that would otherwise show real numbers, but somebody took it upon themselves to declare that Austin was, and give me a second here, and I'm going to get the actual quote.
Speaking of things that are factually true, Leon, do you want to plug your new video in which you say, for once and for all, what are the objective best movies ever made, and which are inarguable?
Yeah. Hang on, I found it just quickly as an aside here, okay?
What?
The quote was, "Still, I kind of love you in a totally non-creepy way, bracket, except for Austin, maybe. He's too delicious, end bracket, and wish you the best." So, Austin's been declared, not necessarily elected, but declared too delicious. To be loved in a creepy way. Or too delicious to be loved in a non-creepy way. Anyways, back to the aside.
What were we talking about?
We're talking about your really objective and non-biased, empirically proved, and most exhaustive best list or movie list of the best 20 of all time. That I haven't had a chance to watch, but I mean, by all means, At what level do you rank Zapped at?
I've never seen Zapped. I don't know what Zapped is.
Well, I can't ruin that for you. Needless to say, it stars Scott Baio, though, and has lots of what I would describe as telekinetic hijinks.
I don't even know how to follow up on that.
In the meantime, I'm gonna read you the synopsis for 1982 teen comedy Zapped. All right.
All right, I insist upon this. I don't want to talk about my episode because then I'll give away what it is, and I want people to click on it. So everyone should just go do that. But I do want to hear about Zapped.
Barney is a science nerd who obtains telekinetic powers after a lab accident. Along with his best friend, Peyton Nichols, a wealthy playboy with a dirty mind, Barney uses his new powers to take revenge upon bullies, cheat at sports, and expose attractive female flesh, particularly the beautiful but snobby Jane. After typical hijinks, including an episode of The Prom strangely similar to the ending of Stephen King's Carrie, which just kind of comes out of nowhere in the synopsis, Barney comes to realize that the best girl for him is actually Bernadette.
Thank you for that.
In your 20 list of, best movies of all time, where is Zapped?
Again, still not, because
I refuse to believe that it didn't make the top 20, even without you having seen it.
Anyway, welcome to Word Funk. We're going to talk about some stuff, including video games. Yeah, that's a thing.
Hey, have you guys heard about s'mores?
The food, yes.
Yeah, it was in the Sandlot. That's where I learned about it.
All right, I'm just checking.
What the fuck?
Austin, tell us about Peter Molyneux with an X.
Is there another way to spell Molymoo?
No, I'm just saying this
with two O's and maybe an extra U or something like that.
Some stupid shit. I'm just shitting on everything French.
Someone needs to draw a picture of Peter Molyneux as a cow and call him Peter Molymoo. And just have like a giant word bubble of him promising some bullshit that he has no intention of delivering on.
By the way, I have no real problem with the French. I'm not one of those people who makes fun of the French for no reason. That's apparently a thing. I never really got it.
Nationalities are all arbitrary anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, I mentioned the French earlier purely because that's the most Europe-y thing I could think of off the top of my head. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, baguettes are good. And Austin, you have a thing to say.
Do I though? I mean, listeners of our stuff for longer periods of time, people back from the BT podcast will remember that we make a sport of hunting down and shitting on Peter Molyneux every time he opens his mouth.
And not just him, but David Cage as well.
Sure, those are our two punching bags. We haven't really been on them recently because they haven't been in the news. But Peter Molyneux just had a headline-making situation arise. And actually, I think it was Eurogamer did a pretty big profile on some of this stuff, and it's gotten people talking. So there's a couple of different ways to approach the latest Molly news.
Well, it actually, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday, Rock Paper Shotgun published a couple of articles about, because essentially what happened was a couple of days ago, Austin, I think it was on Monday, 22 Cans, which is the name of Molyneux's company, released a community update video on the status of Goddess or what have you. But and everybody was like, oh, geez, some of the things that they were saying in the community update video were less than friendly. In a developer slash a seller of goods to consumer relationship. And then, today, the most damning article came from Eurogamer. I will let you continue.
Yeah, there's a couple of different avenues of approach here. I mean, everyone knows, or everyone who listens to us should know at least, that Peter Molyneux is famous for making Black and White and Fable. And
he's also famous for making good games.
I like Black and White.
Like Dungeon Keeper and Syndicate and Magic Carpet back in the Bullfrog days. He was largely considered a titan of the industry back then, which is why Bullfrog was bought out by Electronic Arts and then subsequently shut down because they couldn't handle his jam, yo!
Well, his jam now is promising things and not delivering. And also lying, I guess, just outright lying.
He's confessed. He's confessed to it. Moreover than this Kickstarter thing, because most recently he was saying, hey, we may have made a couple of mistakes on Kickstarter, but I blame their system. Because he said that, this all or nothing, where it's like, if you're 1 penny short, then you don't get any of the money. Yeah. But he's actually confessed to being at games press events like E3 and GDC and Gamescom and things like that, and making shit up on the spot.
Yeah. Because
he thinks that games journalists aren't paying attention.
Which, I mean, there's another conversation altogether. There are legitimate gripes on both sides of that aisle, but specifically with the Molymoo thing, they had a community update for Goddess or whatever, which is both a Kickstarter and an early access jam. So, I mean,
which is not uncommon. I
mean,
a lot of
but he's
Kickstarters
taken down both. He's poking holes in both ships, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. A lot of Kickstarters move to early access after limited backer beta shows up and things like that. And it's worked out well for a lot of dev studios. I mean, I'm not going to come down on it hard, but, I mean, Wasteland 2 apparently doubled their budget size by going early access, and a lot of other games have drummed up good publicity by having good, solid games in early access, like The Long Dark.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're both complete failures. My point is, though, that stuff like this is not boding well for the future. Specifically, he said he promised things he had no intention of delivering, and in the community update, he's like, all these things aren't going to get done, and too bad, basically. You probably remember, guys, Curiosity, what's inside the cube?
I was not curious at all about Curiosity. I found it very incurious.
I was curious about the cube, not necessarily about what was inside.
Yeah. I was curious about none of it. I thought it was just the stupidest waste of time. I felt like he was punking us. He was like, people will buy anything if it's just stupid and it's on a phone, and then he ate it.
It was free. It was free. That was the thing. Like, the thing that fascinated me about it is that it was a real, like, systematic breakdown of what it really is to play a video game. Like, it's always been a private joke insofar as that I seem to be the only one that finds it funny. That on my old BT, when we were doing Blizzard Thumbstill, my staff bio was like, favorite types of games, and my response was, games in which you press buttons and things happen. Because I can never intellectually get over that hurdle where I'm like, I'm holding a lump of plastic, be that my mouse or a controller, and I'm essentially hitting little round things and going, ooh, lights!
It reduced, the concept of video games down to its simplest format. For those who don't remember, Curiosity was a mobile game where all you did was poke your screen repeatedly, and the last person to poke their way into the cube won a prize, which was, they claimed it would be life-changing, and it turned out that you got a revenue share of the next game 22 Cans is making called Godus, which is the one we're talking about now, because as the Eurogamer profile revealed, that happened 2 years ago, and the 18-year-old kid who won that has not received a dime to date, and it doesn't look like he's ever going to, because the feature which would feed that economy has not been implemented in Godus, and they don't seem to have any plans to.
It's not that the economy hasn't been implemented yet. The thing is,
it's the feature.
Yeah, Godus it's essentially Populous, and if you're too young to remember Populous, it's Sandcastle, the game, and not like Sandbox, the game, where you get to like run around and do things in a big space, but it's like you shape terrain essentially in order to like get your people to flourish, your people, right? And when it was originally pitched, it was pitched as being this like, be a god, get followers, like, maintain their land, and then you were gonna clash up against other opponents in multiplayer. And this happens in Populous, where you shape the land and your people get gradually more prosperous, and then they kind of rub up against another population, and not in a sexy way.
I was just thinking, if it's not in a sexy way, why am I even playing?
Exactly. But people loved Populous, and so they wanted to see Godus succeed. But like Godus, for a brief period of time, they had a multiplayer beta show up, and then they pulled it out from the next patch because it wasn't working. Which, weird to me, because I was under the impression that a beta was like, oh hey, let's get this to work properly. Maybe I don't know about these things, but whatever. And he was promised, Brian, the winner of Curiosity, was promised a share of profits that Godus makes while he was the god of gods. Because the plan was to make this, like, hub world where all of these players plugged into. And there was this, like, one player title, King of the Hill, you sit atop the throne and you're like God of Gods. And it's like, while he's God of Gods, he was going to be pulling in revenue that the game was making. And yeah, now it looks as though they're like, well, we, might not be doing it.
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot of shit about Molymoo because it was kind of funny how he was like this larger-than-life exaggerator guy, but it's not really funny anymore. Now it's kind of like... Now it's just a scam. Yeah. I mean, they've already confirmed that 22 Cans is like down to a skeleton crew, and they're already moving on to like another project.
It's not that 22 Cans is down to a skeleton crew. They've pulled almost everybody off of Godus to move them on to his new one, The Trail.
Yeah.
And they're saying that the only reason why Godus exists right now is because the mobile version is making money. And it's like, it's just enough money to keep development going on a skeleton crew.
So yeah, I don't throw around the word scam lightly, but it seems to have been a deliberate attempt to mislead people, which is kind of what we always joked about the Cube being, was bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh. Stop giving him money.
Yeah, this is the funny thing, is that there's a couple of levels to this. It doesn't really bother me that that this kid, Brian, like, I'm not really bothered that they're not following through. Because, he didn't buy into a contest. It's not like buying a lottery ticket and giving these people money and being like, okay, in exchange for this money, you get a chance to blah. You know, he downloaded a game for free, and it's like, oh, okay, well, he doesn't get it. He's no worse off than he was before. It's not like they took his money and then said, okay, fuck you.
Actually, I mean, if you read the profile, and I assume you did, Johnny, like, it does suck that he was cut out of the money, but they also treated him terribly.
That is what bothers me the most about this, is that they promised him, and then they just decided to go and be shitty people about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, Molymoo, like, is quoted as saying he, like, you know, categorically apologizes for them just being dicks.
Yeah.
Just being dicks about it. And I don't know, like, Molymoo is no longer funny to me, and I just really wish people would stop supporting him in these kind of ventures.
I think this was his last chance. I think this was it. I know people who kickstarted Goddess, and I didn't. I was like, no, God, I'm staying away from that until it looks even a semblance of being done, because I know his track record at this point in time. But how many people do? How many people, you know, like when Fable finally hit the Xbox, were aware of all of the things that he promised that Fable was going to be? Not really that many. A lot of the people that I've spoken to that played Fable were like, yeah, it was kind of fun.
I mean, I guess it's a hardcore gamer joke. I don't know how far that extends into, like, real people land.
Yeah.
But we need to start warning the normies.
Well, you know, now it's gotten to this level now that, I mean, presumably the normies, some of them paid early access or kickstarted Goddess.
Also, it's funny, in the profile they talked about how the guy who won the Cube contest went to their offices to play Goddess, and he's like, yeah, I got bored after an hour, it's whatever.
Yeah.
It's like no one's even enthusiastic about the game. So, I haven't played it, but...
I know a guy who's played it,
mm-hmm.
and he's pretty fucked off that it sounds like that it's going to stay in the state where it's in.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever bought an early access game, and I've only kickstarted a couple. Like, it's a gamble, guys. You really should be careful with that kind of stuff.
You gotta do your homework. You have to do your homework. Like, I'm...
Oh my god! Presumably, if you're listening to this, you've already seen the title card, but Leon just sent it to us, so we're getting it fresh. This is real ass laughter. Holy shit.
That's a real-time reaction there. That's
The amazing thing is that in order to make it, I did a Google search for headless cow, and like 8 came up.
Wow, that's dark. All right, you just won this conversation, Leon. Next topic.
Oh, okay.
That was the killing blow.
I'm sorry. I got something else to say on the matter.
Okay.
Because you know, like, sorry, Austin, you're leaving this on going, well, you know, early access and Kickstarters, and the thing is that you gotta do your homework.
Damn it, Johnny, stop being all reasonable and nuanced.
I'm sorry, you do. You absolutely have to do your homework. You know, like, I didn't, Peter Molyneux, yeah, he's an established developer, but I didn't give him money because I didn't believe what he was telling me. I was like, I believe that you're going to have a game at the end of this, but I don't know if it's the game that you're telling me I'm going to have. Because as far back as the original Black and White, he's been telling me things about the games he's going to make that don't come true. But I'm, like, you know, as far as kickstarting has gone right now, I'm actually in a pretty good state. I've kickstarted somewhere in the range of, I think, about 45 games.
Jeez.
45. 17 of those are completed and finished products. They're out the door. They are exactly what I thought they would be. That doesn't mean that they're all great, you know.
And you're a main character in all of them.
Only one of them, I think, I'm a main character in.
Shadowrun?
Yeah, Shadowrun I have dialogue in.
I hate you so much in Shadowrun.
Over and above that, like beyond that 17 are in a released state, 22 of them are currently in a state of early access, where it's like I have access to betas, proof of concepts, and a lot of them are cross-pollinating with early access on Steam as well. You know, like, for example, well, the big one that jumps to mind is Star Citizen. It's not on Steam, but you can buy in whenever you want. Then on Steam, there's Pillars of Eternity, I think, has gone early access for the beta, as well as I consider episodic ones as well, like Dreamfall. I consider that to be kind of like in an unfinished state because we'll see if they get it done. But I did my research. You know, like I looked into the developers that were saying, oh, hey, we want to make this. There's not much beyond that. If somebody has a good track record and they make good products and they realize that by going to Kickstarter, you are then limiting your options afterwards. Like, this is what's going to happen to 22 Cans is that if they don't have enough money to make the trail on their own, they're going to have to kickstart it. And if they kickstart it and they haven't paid due attention to Godus or Goddess or Gonus, then nobody's going to buy in. And that's going to be it. Good night, Irene.
Oh, well,
and everybody else not named Irene.
Yeah, make sure we bring in everyone. Look, here's the thing with me and Kickstarter. Whenever I hear about an awesome Kickstarter game, I get it. I think, oh, that's cool. Maybe I'll play that when it comes out. But I guess part of me just thinks if I plunk down like $30 for this game, I need to know it's definitely coming out. And although most do, I also feel like there's just this possibility of something screwing up down the road.
The thing is statistically speaking, most don't.
Oh.
There's a real weird split down the middle right now of games that have been kickstarted that have actually hit working levels. Because you've got this mix of people who jumped on the bandwagon after Tim Schafer was like, hey, how does everybody feel about adventure games? That had backgrounds in development, like the guys, like Harebrained Schemes, the guys who made the Shadowrun games, who have made games for years. In fact, one of the guys at one of the development heads at Harebrained Schemes was the guy who originally created the pen and paper Shadowrun tabletop RPG.
Oh.
So it's like, you know, there's depth to these people. Obsidian Entertainment, In Exile, like these are veteran developers who have been in the industry for years. But then you have all these other people that are like, oh, you know, like we can finally do it, like the debacle of the Yogscast adventures. Where it was like a podcast decided that they were going to kickstart an adventure game made by an inveterate developer who couldn't manage the project well enough and had a bunch of like health problems and like lost staff, and then pretty soon all the money was burned up and they didn't have a game to show for it. So instead, the podcast decided to find another early access game. And this is all, I mean, conjecture. I'm not saying all of this is actually what happened. But what wound up happening is that all the people who had pledged in to get this Yogg's Ventures game instead got a key to another game that was already on Steam. I can't recall the name of it, though.
I think the moral here is never trust a podcast. People who make them are just inherently distrustworthy.
Just liars. Handsome, charming liars.
I mean, yeah, that's not the issue. I definitely bang anyone to the podcast, as should you, listeners. But I don't trust them.
All at once.
Yeah, I hear
they're not going to call you the next day, though. Neither one of them.
Oh.
So,
all right, it's awkward now. Good job.
It's what I do.
All right, are we ready to talk about the next thing?
Let's talk about the next thing.
Okay, everyone.
What's the next thing?
All right. So many years ago, like 14 or so.
That's a long time.
I know it is. there was a movie that came out in theaters, and it was called Spider-Man. And
I don't believe you.
And Sam Raimi directed it, and it did really, really well. It was a huge blockbuster. Most people liked it. I thought it was fine. Looking back,
Busted blocks.
yeah, looking back, I like it more in retrospect. I think I was just in like a cynical mood during those days. But now looking back, I'm like, those were fun. And the first
Sorry,
one,
are you saying you were in a cynical mood around Spider-Man 1? Is that what you're saying, or you're more cynical now? Sorry.
no, back then.
Okay, so back then you were Spider-Man 3ing Spider-Man 1?
Oh, big time.
All right.
And hair and everything. I had hair. So Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 were really good. Spider-Man 3 isn't as bad as people think it is. I think it's fine. But the problem...
It's exactly as bad as everyone says it is.
I think that people mistake funny bits for sincere bits, and the line gets blurred a little bit, but yeah, I'm still... It's a mess, we can say that, at the very least.
And then, as this was happening, superhero movies were exploding all over the place. But Sony Pictures basically had the rights to the movie rights anyway to Spider-Man, and Marvel had its host of others and was making its own cinematic universe, and everything was amazing, and everyone was like, why can't Spider-Man be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And everyone was saying it, especially after The Amazing Spider-Man came out and everyone, took a big steaming crap on it.
I'm pretty sure that we said at one point in time, why can't I seem to recall on this podcast being like, and wouldn't it have been great at the end of the Avengers when Iron Man's like falling out of the sky if they just like, Spider-Man came flying in there?
The best, and we were speculating a little while ago how this would happen, and in my mind, the best way to introduce Spider-Man into the Marvel Cinematic Universe would be for him to just show up, and then for everyone to say, "Oh, it's Spider-Man! You've always been here this whole time." And now they're not exactly going to do that, but they have the opportunity to do that because Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios have reached an agreement finally. Spider-Man, almost certainly not played by Andrew Garfield anymore, will be debuting in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, probably in Civil War, but we don't know that 100%.
But even then, they're probably going to do that. They're probably going to just be like, "Oh, what's up, Spidey?"
They'll probably put more pomp and circumstance into it. They'll probably make a big deal out of it. They finally got him. But after that, Sony has, Spider-Man for their next big Spider-Man movie. And then it's possible in that big Spider-Man movie that Marvel Cinematic Universe characters will appear in that. So the point is, they're kind of sharing with Sony Pictures having apparently final say-so. And people are really excited about this, and they're excited about it for the movies themselves, and they're also excited about it for the same reason people get excited about, who's going to be the new James Bond actor. Everyone's wondering who the new Spider-Man actor is going to be.
Childish Gambino. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, as soon as the news broke, I was like, if Donald Glover is the new Peter Parker, I'm cool with that. Apparently when I said that, everyone thought I meant Miles Morales, the Ultimate Spider-Man. But Ultimate Spider-Man is 13 or something, isn't he? I guess they could change it.
Yeah. Spider-Man can come in different forms. It doesn't have to be either the one Peter Parker that we've gotten 7,000 times or Miles Morales as true to the comic books. They can have fun with it. That's the thing. I'm most excited about this because it's a chance to kind of reboot Spider-Man. But they don't have to start with the origin story. I swear to God, I've seen Uncle Ben die 10,000 times.
Wait,
Yeah,
I just realized something, you guys.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that there are Thor movies where Thor is a guy? But get this, there's a comic book where Thor is a lady.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think if, we joke, but I think if, Spider-Man just shows up in Civil War or Avengers 2 for a cameo, and it's just he's a thing, he's just been around, he's already in progress, and then they just never go to the origin story route, that would be
I think he'll show up for more than a cameo, but I don't want to see the origin story either, unless they do a completely different origin story. Look, I'm fine if it's Peter Parker, I'm fine. Let me rephrase that. I'm fine if it's Peter Parker so long as we don't see the origin story again. I'm fine if it's Miles Morales, and we do get an origin story because we haven't seen that on film And I'm also fine if it's some third option that completely made up for the Marvel Cinematic Universe / Sony universe. It could just be like some guy like named Joe Spiderman, and he's like, wait a minute, and he thinks about his last name, and then he becomes Spider-Man. Kind of like how every Batman villain has like a weird, like ironic name, and then they grow up to, my name is Victor Freeze, and then, oh, I'm cold, and
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that works. Yeah.
My name is Raw Jacksoff.
What the fuck?
I don't even want to finish this comic book.
But yeah, I mean, people are pretty excited about this. I really like the Marvel movies, so I'm, excited about the possibility of seeing Spider-Man and that. I'm also excited about the fact that Marvel is going to be helping in some way with the new Spider-Man movies to maybe make them not suck. I didn't like The Amazing Spider-Man. I didn't bother with the sequel, which I'm told is sort of like, some people say it's worse, some people say it's better. I don't know. I disliked the first one enough that I didn't care enough to see the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to miss the chemistry between Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, spoilers, you're gonna miss it either way.
I realize that. I've seen the second movie. I know what happens to Gwen Stacy. But I'd seen the second Amazing Spider-Man movie, and I watched that. I was like, yeah, they're done.
Yeah,
that's it. But
I mean, we've had this conversation kind of before, but this is like confirmed. We talked about it before when it was a rumor, so we're a little bit restating ourselves. But I think we're all positive. This is all like good by us as far as we're concerned, right? The takeaway.
Yeah. I think the best thing that they could probably do is have Spider-Man as a presence in the city, in New York, in Civil War or something like that, and he kind of gets picked up and looked at as this ooh, he's a vigilante and he's not part of the Avengers, and that way they don't have to do this whole Spider-Man origin story again, where he can be a presence but he's not a headline presence or anything. And I know that retcons the whole J. Jonah Jameson things and whatnot, but it would give an in and it wouldn't stop the plot dead.
Yeah.
And then you can have a Spider-Man movie afterwards where someone's like, what's your deal, Spider-Man? And he's like, well, you see, with great power comes great responsibility. That's something my uncle taught me. Let's have a flashback.
I don't know, man. Yeah, even flashbacks are pushing it. One of the great
things about want to do it, if they really want to do it, I'm just saying they could. They don't have to do the whole what do you mean I'm a Spider-Man?
One of the great things about Spider-Man is that everyone in the general public already knows it. You can just in media res that shit. We don't need any kind of build up. At least if they're going with the Peter Parker version,
or
although
they decide to go with, I want to see a charismatic, quick-witted, wisecracking Spider-Man. That's all I want, man.
I just want anything but what they were doing. It was not good.
And anything is an improvement. Basically, they hit the floor, so their only way to go is up.
Do you think they're gonna call it, because there was the Raimi ones that were just called Spider-Man, and then the newer ones are Amazing Spider-Man? Do you think these ones are gonna be called Marvel's Spider-Man, or are they gonna do something to?
It's still technically a Sony production, so I don't think they're gonna want to put the Marvel thing right above it, just the way they do Marvel's Avengers, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it'll probably be, the thing is, Spider-Man has tons...
Super-duper Spider-Man!
You joke, but Spider-Man has, tons of adjectives that...
Yeah, spectacular.
Yeah, this will be the spectacular Spider-Man, or it really will be Joe Spider-Man. So, I don't know. Or they could just call it the new Spider-Man. I would watch that.
The better Spider-Man.
They could say the real Spider-Man, like they did with the real Ghostbusters, to differentiate itself from the first but still fakey Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
The I Spider-Man.
Oh, jeez. All right, so we have 15 minutes left. Someone in the comments last week said that we need to stop talking about superheroes, so I'm going to be their advocate and cut us off there.
Wait, look, I don't read that shit. Someone said we need to stop talking about superheroes?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, you know who I love? Green Lantern and Green Arrow and Wonder Woman and Cyborg and Nightwing and Robin 2 and Robin 3 and Robin 4. And I also like Aquaman and Aqualad and Flash and Kid Flash and Impulse, who also became a Flash, and I like the other Flash. And I like the Flash TV show, and I like Arrow. I like Arrow is about Green Arrow, who is married to Black Canary, who is friends with Huntress, who used to work for Oracle.
Oh my God, he's pulling a full Johnny.
Gordon. I need to know which Flash TV show.
The new Flash TV show. Not the old Flash TV show, which had a small role by Mark Hamill, who played the Joker, who used to work with Harley Quinn.
I'm sorry, listeners.
No, he didn't play the Joker.
No, not on the show. On the show, he played a different character, but Mark Hamill played the voice of the Joker on a different show.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about when Mark Hamill played the Trickster
in
The Flash.
Yeah, he played the Trickster, who also knew Captain Cold, who was friends with Dr. Light. You know what? Don't tell me what I
just got to know, which Flash are we talking about again? Because he played the Trickster in both.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't tell me what I can talk about on my fucking show. I'm going to talk about so many superheroes. We're going to rename this Word Funk the Superhero Show. Don't shut up.
Can we call it?
I don't read the comments. God, man, I'm angry like the Hulk and Red Hulk.
I don't even think it was malicious. I think it was a totally chill comment. You're
Stop.
totally
No. Tell me what to do. Also, Thor. Okay, so there's another topic we wanted to talk about, Johnny, possibly.
Was there?
I don't know.
We're not good at planning these things.
Well, I just got a text from my girlfriend who sent me a link that says that apparently there's a company that's offering a chocolate mold of your butthole.
Of course there is.
Just of the butthole? Not like the whole thing?
No, just the butthole.
So it's mostly just empty space, or...
Well, no, I mean, it's you.
Oh God. So
okay, all right, no, I'm pretty sure that this is. I'm really hoping that this is a. That this is a satire website.
Give me the link. We all have to read this on the air. I will.
I'm out.
Again, Austin, don't tell me what to do on my show. We're going to talk about superheroes and chocolate butts.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. It doesn't look like it's actually a satire website.
It's real? Give me the link.
Okay, give me a second.
I'm sorry. I'm very
sorry. It's on my phone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're very passionate.
I'm very excited about butts. So...
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, God. I can't believe. Forgive me for what I'm about to do.
It's called edible anus.
No.
Oh, it's only the starfish. It's not. I thought it would be like a tube, like it went in and then it like a colonic. And then it just tracked your entire rectum.
No, just the hole.
Oh,
just the hole.
It's not nearly as exciting. I felt like there's only so much you can do with that. The anus that made Britain great. Oh, that's what did it. It wasn't like centuries of like holding the world at the edge of a sword or anything like that. No, it was
superior naval fleet. Not at all. None of that shit. No, it was it was buttholes.
Yeah, it says at the bottom. It says, "Please choose your country or region to continue." Well, I'm not pressing European Union because we know what they do. So I'm clicking America/Canada. We're like one thing. I have to keep going. I'm sorry. We're doing this on the air. I'm gonna buy a chocolate butt. Wait, how does this work? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Look, it says edible anus, but it doesn't. It's not my anus. It's just a random anus.
No. Apparently, there's a mold process.
Oh, hold on. Well, geez. It sounds like it's. So what? I have to do it?
I feel like this is a lot of work.
I know, that's a lot of work to have a chocolate.
I wasn't suggesting that you did.
Well, no, I'm just saying that, I thought when you're talking about, there's this place that will mold your butthole into chocolate, I thought there was like a salon, and you went in and you dropped trowel and they did stuff, but no, I have to, if it's do it yourself, I'm not doing it, because that just sounds like a lot of extra work, and as we all know, I'm very busy. So
that was the worst. That was bad. Like on a scale of like 9/11 to the Holocaust, guys.
That is why you don't put me on the spot, because the things I'm likely to come up with will shatter worlds.
Okay. So before we go, anyone playing any new video games?
Jesus.
Austin?
Are we even trying to transition out of that?
I'm walking out of that with my head held high. Everybody knows that when you wind up in a situation where you are buck-ass naked in public, you have to pretend like you meant to be there, hold your chin up and just go, "What's up?" and walk away.
Oh my goodness. Well, I've been playing Apotheon, which is a Metroidvania for the PS4 that was free with PlayStation Plus this month. Which PlayStation Plus is so good, guys. So many awesome games for free there. It's weird and it's cool. It has like a art style that's supposed to be reminiscent of like the outside designs and like a Grecian urn.
What's
very
a Grecian
weird. Urn? That would be an urn from ancient Greece.
Oh, fuck, you're so useless, man.
I know what it is. I know what it is. I've heard of it. I'm smart.
Anyway, it's a game.
What's a Grecian urn?
I feel like this is, it's a joke, and if I say, and it's gonna be like money, because what do they earn?
Oh, like 40 drachmas an hour?
Yeah, you fucking updogged me. You tried to updog me. I'm smarter than you, Johnny.
No, I gave you the opportunity to updog me, is what that was.
Okay.
But you just,
I know. I'm tired. This is not the ideal situation for wordplay right now. Trying to think. Oh, the Persona 5 trailer dropped, guys. Persona 5 looks fucking ridiculous. It looks so good, it makes me ashamed of liking other games because they look like shit compared to the new game. It's shaking my world. It looks so good. Have you guys been playing stuff?
I haven't at all for like a week. I'm sorry, I've just been so busy with a bunch of other things. So no, I'm afraid not.
Johnny?
Yes, I have actually. I've been finally giving Alien Isolation the attention it deserves. I played a few hours into it, several. I can't even remember. Like, I don't know, maybe 10 hours or something like that I've dedicated to Alien Isolation so far. Haven't finished it yet, but like immediately upon playing it, I was like, wow, this is one of my favorite games of the year. But I had other games that I was like, I need to get this out of my way, like Wasteland 2. So I'm finally giving Alien Isolation the attention it deserves. And, I love it. No, I really do. I really love it. It's so like, it's funny too, because it doesn't frighten me the way that a lot of other survival horror games frighten me. Because I always feel on guard.
How far are you? Because everyone says, "Oh, it's so good," but it goes on way too long. Everyone agrees.
Yeah, that's the thing is that I don't know if I've hit that point yet. I don't think I have. Just like judging from some of the hour commentary that people have, but I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll do the whole thing, expecting for that moment to hit when I'm like, yeah, this is wearing out. But it hasn't yet. And I don't know, like, there's something, something tense about it, like very specifically tense, not frightening, but tense.
I never understood the appeal of watching people like play horror games on YouTube and like listening to them scream. Like that's like a whole genre of videos.
Yeah.
Until I played PT at my friend's house, and a couple of guys were watching me, and they literally ran screaming from the room. Like we got it on film, like absolutely screaming and flailing. And now I understand the appeal, in watching other people be scared.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's an easy way to relieve the fright, because all at once you are as a viewer confronted by the fear at the same time as you are like watching the exaggerated reactions of the people on screen. It's because it's different being invested than it is being a viewer.
yeah, no, like they couldn't play it. Like they had me play it. They brought me over to play PT because they couldn't physically get through it. Like it was scaring them too bad, so they were just watching me. So it's an entirely different thing.
I have no problems watching scary movies. Like watching scary movies, and I'm going to make the the distinguishment between scary movies and horror movies, because you can have horror movies that aren't scary.
And vice versa.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah, like I can watch scary movies and be like, that was really good. But I will, during genuinely frightening video games, lose my bottle, as they say.
No one says that.
I've never heard that before.
Some people say that.
Maybe it's a Canadian thing.
I think it's an English expression.
Was it Jeff? Don't believe him. He makes things up.
I don't believe Jeff. Jeff told me that you guys would call me the next day.
Told you don't believe him.
I still go back to Silent Hill 2 and play through a little bit at a time and just be like, ooh, and I go back every so often being like, hey, I wonder if my knowledge of Silent Hill 2 now can buffet the terror that this game makes me feel. And I get 20 minutes in and I'm like, hey, I'm cool, everything's alright, and then one thing happens and I become a gibbering mess. There's something about that game that just stings my heart.
I wish it was fun to play because it's really, really well done in every other aspect, but the controller part.
Yeah.
But yeah. I guess we gotta go in a minute, Leon. You gotta go? You got busy stuff?
Not really. I mean,
Really?
I do and I don't. I mean, I'm...
He doesn't want to get back to his taxes. Remember, American Horror Story is over. So.
Yeah. So I have a few minutes, but I don't have a whole lot more to say.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the Grammys, but these dorks didn't follow it or anything.
I watched the musical performances.
I heard that a guy rapped. Is that right?
Oh my goodness, Johnny.
Was he like, my name's Kanye West and I'm here to say?
Do you guys have strong opinions on Kanye West? The whole internet does.
I don't listen to his music because I don't listen to a lot of recent popular music or rap, and he's all of those things.
His music video where he had Seth Rogen and James Franco ride motorcycles together was one of the best music videos I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
I do have an opinion on him just as a person. It's negative.
You think he's a jerk?
I feel like I don't know. I feel like he's kind of in his own little world.
He's rude?
Well, yeah, basically
Perhaps?
he's rude.
Is he rude?
He came on. Look, the most recent thing is that he was unhappy that Beck, who has been making music for a very long time, he's a singer-songwriter and he's very creative. He won Album of the Year when people were not expecting him to, and he was like, but someone I wanted to win the award should have won the award. That woman who 5 people write each of her songs, she's a real artist. And that's basically what he said, except he didn't mention the whole 5 people wrote her songs thing.
Okay, Leon, here's my hot take, because everyone regurgitates the same couple points there about Kanye. Yeah, yes, it's a jerkish thing to do to interrupt someone's speech, and yes, he does his own stuff, and she has collaborators. But I don't know. I don't even know how much of that is real Kanye. I feel like it's like when Lady Gaga shows up to an event wearing a meat dress, right? It's part of the persona. Do you think he actually is like that, like in his real life?
No, yeah.
Wait, are you guys telling me that people don't actually wear meat dresses in real life?
No.
All right. Well, I mean,
Fuck! Now I have to take that back to the store.
The music industry is like 50% image, and I think Kanye cultivates the kind of like narcissism that culminates in these events, and I think it strikes me as like a performance art piece of his music career.
No, he seems like he's just an asshole. I'm sorry. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I really do. It's just certainly a big part of your persona. And I get that, but I also think that the world is filled with a bunch of assholes, and he like many people, he just happens to be an asshole. And the reason he's an asshole, he might have been born an asshole, or he became super famous at a young age and got a whole lot of money, and everyone told him he was God, and that's really what happens to so many different celebrities. It's almost not even his fault.
Wait. Justin Bieber is not humble?
That's it. I mean, I'm sorry, but this the celebrity world is full of people who think they have, I guess, high opinions of themselves. And I'm not even bashing them, because if I, like at 20 or something, started making millions of dollars and everyone told me I was really great, I probably would be a different person than I am now. I would probably be a bit of a dick about it. And I like to think that I wouldn't be, but you know how, like, in the celebrity world, when everyone says, like, who's, like, the nice guys in Hollywood, everyone says, oh, like, Tom Hanks and, like, Chris Pratt. And they have, like, a hard time thinking of people who, like, haven't publicly humiliated themselves, or haven't got pulled over for this and that, or haven't been just complete dicks. And again, I'm not one of those people who thinks that, Hollywood and the music industry, they're just cesspools, because that sounds like something people like in West Texas say, but no, I'm sorry, but there's a culture of fame and power and money and frankly drugs that creates an atmosphere for a lot of celebrities to be kind of douchebags. And Kanye West, I don't even think he's the biggest douchebag. He's just a douchebag.
You seem to know a lot about this, Leon. So I have one question for you.
Yeah.
How do I get in?
If I do, you and I wouldn't even be friends, Johnny. I would have paid my millions when I was 20, and then I wouldn't have tried my hand at making internet videos.
But then we could have, like, a really super famous internet feud, right?
Yeah, I guess we could do that. We could have.
All right.
We could have a Twitter war.
I would be like, why isn't Zapped on your top 20 list, motherfucker?
I like how Leon's just like, I would abandon you all at the slightest.
No, we just never would have met. That's the truth of it.
I know. For the record, I think Kanye West is really talented. I think My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is one of the greatest albums of all time, and I think that you're not giving him enough credit.
Is that the one that he did with John Bryan?
I don't remember particularly. Here's another thing, and I forgot to mention this. Okay. Collaboration does not lessen you as an artist.
No, it definitely doesn't, but when he said she has real artistry, it's like, yeah, but a lot of her stuff is not even her. So, whereas I'm not even making fun of Beyonce when I say that, because I'm sure she's very, very talented. I'm just saying that when Kanye West said, well, if you look at her and you look at him, she's obviously the real artist, and it's like, really? Because one of them does all his shit.
Are you sure, Leon? Are you sure it's not the Church of Scientology writing all this stuff?
Look, I try to forget the fact that Beck is a Scientologist, so I would like to leave that out of the conversation. No, I do not think John Travolta and Tom Cruise are secretly giving him music ideas. I think Beck is
writing all of his stuff.
Beck, if you want to talk about someone's persona, I feel like Beck joined the Church of Scientology just because he thought it would be weird, and he's just naturally a weirdo.
Yeah, I mean, he's right if that was his rationale.
Yeah. Look,
I didn't even know Beck put out an album in 2014. That astounds me. And I guess for that, I feel like he deserves the Grammy.
Look, and I've actually have heard a few of Kanye West's songs, and although I am not a rap fan, I can certainly see that he obviously knows what he's doing. I'm not saying he's untalented. I'm just saying that he, on many different occasions, has been kind of an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. He doesn't seem like somebody I'd want to be friends with, chill with him. But I think the feeling is probably mutual.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want Kanye West to be a dungeon master at a D&D session for me. I think that would that'd probably be pretty bothersome for both of us.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, before we leave, a couple other things, real quick on the Grammys. One, Iggy Azalea didn't win anything. That's fantastic. The other thing is,
she's so fancy.
It's not even funny. I want to make fun of her, but it's not. She's not a person to even consider giving an award to.
She's also rude.
Guys, did you see the nominations in the metal category? Because one was a cover of a Dio song, one was a cover of a Black Sabbath song, and I didn't even know Motorhead was still together. What is going on with the metal scene right now? It's anarchy. Tenacious D won over Mastodon. A joke band won the Grammy for Best Metal Performance.
That's great. That would be like if Spinal Tap won Album of the Year.
It really would. It's nonsense, guys.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that Tenacious D was still making music.
Well, I'm completely out of touch.
For that, I think they deserve the Grammy.
By the way, if anyone wants to argue with me about Kanye West, go right ahead in the comments. I'm sure I'll read all of them.
Talking about the Grammys is really just laying bare to me exactly how much attention I pay to popular music.
Does anyone in the I guess I shouldn't even ask this because I really do try not to care. But is anyone in the comments constantly trying to talk to me?
Yes, someone really wants you to add the download link for one of the old episodes somewhere where they can access it, even though.
Well, why do they keep asking me in the comments when they know that's not a possibility?
I don't know.
They just look. If to anyone who's listening to this and needs a download link or needs to contact me in any way, it is super easy. I'm not hard to find just because I don't go into that one tiny corner of the internet. @Renegade Cut is my Twitter. If you ask me for a download link, I will immediately give it to you. It will take me 5 seconds, and I will be happy to do it. You can contact me by email, renegadecutmedia@gmail.com. I have a Facebook fan page. I have a Patreon where you can message me. I have a Letterboxd account where you can message me. I have a website called renegadecut.com. I have a million different ways to contact me. Stop trying to contact me through the one place on the internet where I have publicly said I don't want to go.
Leon, you're overwhelming me. I'm just going to leave a comment under the next episode.
I always send all my stuff to Sean at channelawesome.com.
By the way, I always miss this. Why do we always make fun of Sean? I like Sean. What he's just Sean. Like a genuinely nice guy. Where did this all come from?
I don't remember. I just think he is just
dark
a really
places.
He's just a really mockable
places.
person.
Okay.
He has bad opinions and thoughts.
Oh.
It makes him fun to poke fun at.
He's also really vocal about them, I've noticed. Not just vocal in the sense of that's what he thinks, but like unbearably confident.
We're just talking shit about a real person with feelings.
Wait, what? No, I'm gonna defend Sean just because I think he's delightful. So what does he think that you guys?
You liar. Sean is not delightful.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I don't even know. That's the thing. We haven't actually been forced to interact in any significant way in 2 years.
Oh.
So he hasn't done anything to me.
He's just left a really deep impression, Austin. I mean, I'm.
It's like we've built up this fake monster that represents him.
You're just being rude to someone for no reason. You're like Kanye West, basically, right now. Just really out of line. You should apologize to Sean. Right now. I'm going to contact him on Twitter and say Austin has something he wants to say to you.
But Kanye didn't apologize. Beck did.
Oh, yeah, what was that? Beck was like, oh, sorry I won. It's like, you shouldn't even have to say that. I would have loved it if Beck just stormed off the stage and just flipped off of everyone and says, fuck Kanye West! I'm Beck! Odelay! You know?
He just ends all of his sentences with album titles from his work.
Mutation!